Do you want to know the secret of finding motivation so you can perform well at work? If so, stay tuned with this video. Hey everyone, my name is Rafa Collazo and welcome to the Millennial Moment. I just recently moved into this property, which is now my investment property, and so I'm coming to you live from Old Louisville. In today's episode, I'd like to talk to you guys a little bit about finding motivation. Now, finding motivation is something that people around the world struggle with each and every day. Whether it's finding motivation to go to work and perform well, or maybe it's finding motivation to start that side business that you've always wanted to. That one word, motivation, is something that runs through people's mind every single day. But in order for us to understand how to become more motivated, we really have to understand what motivation is. Now, there's actually two different types of motivation. The first being internal motivation, and the second being external motivation. Now, most of us are generally driven by external motivators. So you may be asking yourself, what's an external motivator? Well, what it is it's someone or something that is impacting you to perform an action. Generally, what you think about an external motivation is when you have a 9-to-5 job. If for some reason you were not to show up to your job for a day or two, your boss may choose to fire you. This external motivator of not wanting to get fired from their job is something that drives people to perform at work. However, external motivators actually tend not to be as effective as the second type of motivator, which is internal motivation. Now you may be asking yourself, what's internal motivation? Well, internal motivation is motivation that comes from you, inside of you. Maybe you're truly passionate about photography and you want to be a photographer. Or maybe you're truly passionate about real estate investing and you want to become a real estate investor. That internal passion, that internal desire to do something is what is called internal motivation. So now you may be asking yourself, which type of motivation is actually more effective? Well, according to a recent study conducted by Barry Schwartz and his colleagues from the University of Pennsylvania, they analyzed over 14 years of data that comprised of over 10,000 cadets that got accepted into West Point. Now, the process of getting into West Point is extremely rigorous. It's an extremely structured environment that requires you to wake up extremely early in the morning in order to do PT. And then from there, you go to breakfast, then you have classes all day, and then you have to do some other extracurricular activities. And at some point, way off in the night, you actually get to go to sleep. But everything is structured and everything is regimented, which is very mentally draining and demanding. As a review of the survey question data, they looked specifically for different questions that indicated different types of motivation. For example, people who were driven to attend West Point because they were truly passionate about the Army profession were much more internally motivated than those who were pressured by their parents in order to attend West Point. Now, what the results showed was that individuals who were driven by internal motivators were 20% more likely to graduate from West Point than those individuals who did not have internal motivators. So now you may be asking yourself, what does this mean for me? Well, what it means is that you need to find internal motivators in your life to actually push you forward to perform well in various areas of your life. Now, in my previous book, The Millennial Playbook, 9 Secrets to Living a Rich Life, I talk in detail about driving forces and how you can isolate which driving force drives you so that you can actually move forward and apply that to be successful in your life. In total, there are 4 driving forces. Number 1 is what, number 2 is why, number 3 is how, and number 4 is who. Those individuals who are driven by what are driven to achieve something for an object or a particular goal. So for example, you often hear people who are driven by what say, I'm working this hard to achieve and buy a Lamborghini, or I'm working this hard to prove my doubters wrong. That type of internal motivation, that driving force is what drives them every single day to achieve excellence. Now, those driven by why are driven by an internal why to succeed. So for example, I'm driven by a strong why of actually wanting to help people in my generation find prosperity in their life and find fulfillment. That strong motivator is what gets me up every single day at 5:30 a.m. to be able to write, to create content, to really produce all this content that you're consuming to help you achieve fulfillment in your life. Without that internal motivation, I would not be willing to do this, and therefore content would not exist. Now, the third driving force is that of who. Individuals driven by who are driven to be successful as a result of wanting to be the best they can be for someone else. Now, individuals who fit this description include kids, parents, siblings, loved ones, friends, really anyone that you want to see successful in life. Your desire to be successful is driven by the desire to want to be the best you possibly can be for those individuals so that you can add so much more value to their lives. This is an extremely powerful driving force that has driven many of the most successful entrepreneurs to be as successful as they have over the course of their lifetime. Now, the fourth and final driving force is that of how. People who are driven by how are really passionate about the intricacies of their work and really perfecting their craft. This individual could be a carpenter who really takes pride in the intricacies of creating the most beautiful chair for his client. This could be a business executive who really takes pride in making the organization as successful as possible, and any small win they get in order to grow the business makes them motivated to succeed and going forward. Now, these are all internal motivators that you can utilize in order to gain internal motivation in your own life. Now, you may be driven by more than one of these internal motivators. However, there's one in particular that really speaks to you and will be what you utilize in order to push yourself forward and be successful in your life. So as an action item at the end of this video, I highly encourage you to sit down with a piece of paper and go over what drives you internally. Write out whatever your internal motivation is, whether that's what, who, how, or why, and then stick it on your wall so you can actually see it every single day. I promise you that by doing this and actually sticking to your internal motivation over an extended period of time, you'll be amazed with how much forward progress you make in your life and the fulfillment you achieve over time. Now, if you love the content of these videos, be sure to subscribe below. I regularly provide awesome engaging content for millennials every Monday and Wednesday. Not only that, but for a limited time, you can actually download my book below, The Millennial Playbook, Proven Success Strategies for the Millennial Generation, where I share actionable engaging content that you can utilize to chart a course to a better life. Now remember, subscribe, like, and comment below, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time.